Okay, good afternoon. If I could have your attention. Welcome to Minot State University and the College of Arts and Sciences 2-minute lecture series. We are here celebrating our liberal arts tradition at MSU, in the United States and beyond. Today we have Eric Furuseth from Literature and Humanities speaking on The Broken Dandy, Byron's narrator in Don Juan. So without any further ado, Dr. Furuseth.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kibler. This is about Lord Byron, who was the most famous romantic poet of his age in the world. He was born in 1788. He was poor when he was a child, but he inherited a title and a fortune. In 1812, he wrote a hit poem called Childe Harold's Pilgrimage and was famous overnight. In that poem and in the action poems that followed, he relied on a swashbuckling hero. Brooding, the Byronic hero, he was called, who rebelled against the hypocrisy of the world. He was young, anti-establishment, a handsome man, ruled by strong emotions, the Byronic hero. Lord Byron himself was a handsome, partying young man. He said he wrote his best-selling poems while dressing for dinner parties. He was a ladies' man with many affairs. He was famously called mad, bad, and dangerous to know by Lady Caroline Lamb, who loved him madly, and many other women thought the same. He tried to settle down in England, and to that end he married a straight-arrow woman he called his mathematical darling. They had a child, but he could not escape his passions, and he was driven out of England by his many affairs and scandals. He went to southern Europe and settled in Venice, where he was often forced to jump at night from many a boudoir window into the polluted canals. At the same time, he was writing a steady stream of fascinating literature. He was really burning the candle at both ends. In his early 30s, he began to feel old, and he began to work on a poem called Don Juan. Not Don Juan, as it should be pronounced in Spanish, but it is pronounced as the British would say it in their provincial John Bull way, Don Juan. Don Juan is narrated by a broken dandy. He is a wisecracking, world-weary version of the Byronic hero. In short, it is Byron himself using the story of the famous lover and leaver as a platform for delivering his own opinions in a relaxed and witty way. We soon find out that this Don Juan is more the innocent victim of the women who pursue him. They pursue him madly. It is not his fault that they find him irresistible. What is poor young Don Juan supposed to do when these women throw themselves at him? He is young, vibrant, alive. He's not exactly a Byronic hero. He doesn't brood. He has the resiliency of youth. Byron died before finishing the poem, but he once wrote that Don Juan would end either in hell or a bad marriage, which was pretty much the same thing. So our narrator, the broken dandy, Byron, is an older, fatter, balder man, wise but with a great sense of humor and no fear. He tells us the tale of Don Juan's adventures, but often leaves the straightforward narrative to indulge himself and us in his thoughts on whatever subject suddenly grabs his fancy. He begins the poem, I want a hero, an uncommon want, when every year and month sends forth a new one, till after cloying the gazettes with cant, the age discovers he is not the true one. Of such as these I should not care to vaunt, I'll therefore take our ancient friend Don Juan. We all have seen him in the pantomime, sent to the devil somewhere ere his time. And a few verses later, brave men were living before Agamemnon, and since exceeding valorous and sage, a good deal like him too, though quite the same none, but then they shone not on the poet's page, and so have been forgotten. I condemn none, but can't find any in the present age fit for my poem, that is for my new one. So as I said, I'll take my friend Don Juan. And he continues on like this, back and forth between story and musings for hundreds of delightful pages. The narrator, the broken dandy, is no longer of the romantic age of the Byronic hero. He cannot name a hero in the present world. He has more in common with the age that is to come, the age of anxiety and the anti-hero, that is to come in the 20th century. Or perhaps he has more in common with the great age of satire, which was the enlightened 18th century. In any event, the broken dandy narrator is truly a unique and wonderfully humorous voice in the period of Romantic literature. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.